How you doing? Doing okay. We all know changes are in the future, right? If anything is going to change, it's going to happen in the future. Hello. Is all the change good, or is it good? Just good? Change is just good? Sometimes change can be bad. So, what kind of change? How can we, determine the change to be the change that we want? How do you go about achieving that? What's the kind of change that you want? What is an ideal change? Do you have a relationship with God? You do? You talk to Him every day?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That's your opinion. We all have opinions. You can believe whatever you want to believe. And this is America, right? But if you idealize something, does that has to do with something between God and humanity? Or is it personal? Can you make something that is ideal personal? And if you can, if that is doable, then how you go about achieving that? What has to happen to make ideal personal? What do you have to be to, actually achieve that? Because, when you talk about ideal, when you talk about relationship between God and humanity, it's God and humanity. Even when you talk, just with the little information that is there, with Jesus, He's representation of humanity. It's relationship between God and humanity through a representation, a single representation. And obviously his course was tragic. And through that, something, was manifested, called Christianity. What is Christianity? There's so many versions of Christianity. How many denominations are there? I think close to 500, growing every day. They have a different interpretation of that single person who represented the relationship between God and humanity. So when you idolize something and you try to make it personal, you have to know where you stand. Why do you want to make it personal? Because only then that I can, have some kind of, give and take that I can feel, like it can give me some kind of satisfaction or something. And why do you want that kind of satisfaction with the relationship between God and humanity? Change. Change for the better. The first thing that goes against the change is arrogance, right? There are so many experts out there that I know everything about this. And unless you pass me, you ain't going nowhere. What the hell do you think you got? And there's another, the opposite groups of people, the insecure, defeatist, doomsday sayers, naysayers. And there are people in the middle, skeptics and cynics. I don't trust you. Trust is a very difficult thing for the cynics and skeptics. Why? Because they say, look at the history. That's all they need to say. And they go down the list, blah, 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 blah. And who the hell are you? And how are you going to prove? It takes time to prove something. But right off the bat, you have that kind of challenge. Change, difficult. Just because the way we think and what we are in reality. Because you have to deal with you can separate them into all sorts of other levels, but basically that's what you have to deal with in order to make change real. You can talk about change. But first of all, you have to go through that hurdle. And how do you do that? How do you convince those people? How do you convince so-called experts, the arrogant people, that I know everything in this field? Unless you prove to me that you know better than I do, I ain't gonna move. I'm staying here. This is my authority. And you go to these people, who are absolutely insecure. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Just looking at my neighbors, living with my neighbors, ain't gonna happen. So what is the ideal? What is the ideal relationship between God and mankind? What does God want from us? Do you feel His love?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
It's a concept, isn't it?
No.
Do you feel? You feel it?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody feel the same? That's a problem. That's love. And how do you teach somebody that stuff? How do you learn about that kind of stuff? How do you have the kind of feeling that you have, that they can have it as well? How do you do that? You have to be honest. And you have to be, you gotta try to be as transparent as you can possibly be. Even if it means that you have to be vulnerable, so be it. What you see is what you get. No other one. That's it. And from there you can start. If anything's going to change, it's going to start with the very simple goodness that's about it. That we all know, but many times we don't practice because of all sorts of reasons. You can find your own. Living in this pretentious world. You pretend and you take as you can, and you try to take as much as you can when opportunity arises, right? And that's the way, right? That's the way of capitalism, isn't it? You gamble with your life in that way. And it's a short life. And what do you want to change? How long do you think it's going to take to change the world? We haven't even found a proper communication ways to communicate with other religions that are very warring in the name of God. That's a big homework, isn't it? And it's a very important one because it affects everybody. I mean, what good is freedom when you live in terror? What's the point? And how do you go about addressing that issue? It has to start from very, very basic things. You have to answer that. If you can't do that, there's no way in hell you're going to change the world. I want change too. I'll always leave. I mean, for all my life, I expect things to change for the better. Because it was promised to me. I'm still waiting. Most likely I'll die for it. That's pretty much what I see. The price that I have to pay for the change. So be it. And it's not just me, you too. As long as you're here, that's the price you pay. tell me. You want an ideal relationship with God. You want to learn about the greatest love, the eternal love. All the blessing and joy and happiness, everything that was promised, everything that is ideal that you can fantasize. I want that. I want that with God. I want it forever because that's where forever comes from. Because I want that forever, I need to make that relationship with God. So be it. Now, how are you going to go about starting that relationship? What are you going to do? What is your first step? What is your second step? What is your third step? First step is understanding basic vows. That's about it. The promises that were made. You have to understand that. Then go to the next one. What is the next one? After the basic vow. It's your blessing. Make the blessing work. And what is the final? I'm simplifying things. You give your life for it. And I'll do my best as I learn these things and do my best to help you so that I can help myself to achieve that ultimate end. That I'll give my life. Judge me. People die every day. People get born every day, right? That's how you change the world. But just knowing the absolute basic stuff. First of all, it's necessary, but you have to live it. And I try to live it. That's the pain in the ass part. Because it lasts your life. What else can I say? Life sucks. But it can be good. Just the way you look at things. It varies on a different day. Okay?